Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Ask Me Anything AMA. And it has been a long time since we have seen each other, I guess. The last time we had an AMA was in end of Q2, start of Q3. And then since then, we have been working and we have been doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes. And that's why we thought that we should come online and give you guys a little bit of update about where we are, what's happening. I mean, some of the updates we have been working on, you guys have seen in the game with the new versions coming in. And with me to give you a better insight into what's been happening is obviously our Chief Product Officer, Ching Guan. And he is going to, we are like, I asked you some questions to send over some questions, and you did. I have relayed the question to Ching already. So we will discuss those questions broadly. Most of the community wanted to know the same thing, which Ching and I have, which I always keep asking Ching as well whenever we have a meeting. So
Yeah.
I think without further ado, Ching, before we jump into the whole technical structure and everything, when is the mobile version coming? That is the number one question from everybody in our community. So what is the status of the mobile version?
Yes, it's next priority for us. Ballpark wise, I think our timeline is Q1, Q2 next year. We are going for Android soft launch. It's a bit kind of a pivoting between iOS or Android. At the end, we decide to go with Android. This is also taking some feedback from our player community. It seems like there are more players using Android. So we're going for soft launch to a selected market, Q1, Q2 next year. This is very, very high level. And as usual, I don't want to give us a specific deadline, because that's not how the kind of game development work in general. But as I discussed with other colleagues, we always try to get this done as soon as possible. This is a good range to give you perspective.
Absolutely. Yeah, and like already people are playing the iOS version. A lot of people are already playing the iOS version. We have
Indeed. Yeah.
sort of released to people in our community, especially the people who have been sticking for the VIP level or who are the landowners. They are already playing it, and in future, in coming days, we will be introducing more opportunities for people who have iOS to enter. But in the meantime, we, like Ching mentioned, the team is developing and working actively on the Android version. And hopefully, maybe before even Q1, we might be able to sort of like let people, some certain like selected people, like have a taste of it, like how in the iOS version we are letting people having a taste of
By
it.
end of this year, I think end of Q4, we should be able to invite external testers, as we were doing now with the iOS.
Yeah.
So we'll have some players already can get hands on the Android build.
That's great. Yeah, because yeah, I mean, as an outsider, you don't see the difference a lot, but like, yeah, developing an app altogether for Android is a different ball game altogether from iOS. I think different, things to take care of and everything.
Yeah,
So,
especially from desktop to mobile, this is different
mhm,
platforms, right? I mean, functionality-wise is similar, but when it comes to UI UX, is very different. And
absolutely.
I
Speaking of
think only for
desktop, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
speaking
go
of
ahead.
desktop, like we recently released a very big update. Actually, like end of last month and start of this month, we gave a little bit of patch update as well. But that was a big update from our side because technically we know, I think internally, and we also shared it with our community earlier this year towards the end of Q2 that we are facing a bigger change in terms of technical infrastructure, the game stability, and more gamers entering the game and playing the game simultaneously, because that is also a very big thing. Because once we go towards mobile, we do expect a larger number of players sort of entering the world of medieval empires.
Yeah.
So I think laying down that groundwork was also very important, right?
Yeah, so we call it the new game server architecture, or basically building a new game server solution, which is the biggest milestones for this whole project. There's a combination of different factors. One is about considering how we scale the game when it comes to a lot more players we're talking about. Second is also the performance issue that we have been through, I would say, suffering in the past months. And also the technical vendor, the infrastructure level, there's a change because one of the service we choose to use is sunset by the provider, so we have to change as well. So with combination of all these factors, we have to make all these changes, which is take quite a long time. So now it's finally out, and we're very happy that actually the whole process is rather smooth. Well, I mean, from technical point of view, it's more smooth, but from user point of view, maybe it's not. So I want to give our appreciation to all our players that supporting us. With your patience, with support, so this actually went out. So now we are, how to say, we are ready to scale up, or ready to do more. Yeah, exactly. This is also for cross platforms, desktop and mobile. This is much easier. And also the future releases, every time we're not going to go through this huge long hours of server downtime. Right now, actually, a lot of people don't know, we are doing constant update on server side. And so this is basically happening weekly, which much better than before.
Yeah, I mean, I play the game as well, and I know I have seen like a lot of stability and improvement in terms of the gameplay, how smoothly the game is being played right now. So I think that is definitely like it was a visible change. Like we could, as even as the player, I could sense it, and I think community is also appreciating that.
We got feedback from the community as well. Yeah.
Yes.
It's a big step. It really took a lot of effort, and
it did.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what else I can emphasize, because this is all behind the doors that people don't see. But this is necessary. We have to do it. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like a building block. Without that foundation being like stable and strong, you can't build upon that. Like it's similar to like how that it works. And for the upcoming Android version and everything, we needed to stabilize our main core game first and the core technology first to kind of build upon the further things.
Yeah.
Another thing which I would, people were mentioning, and I would want to spatially tell people who have been asking me multiple times that yes, the events are going to be back as normal now because the game is stable now. So I think I think players who have been playing for a long time, they noticed we were not bringing certain weekly events, like for example, Invader Hunt back. But from now on, it's back on the regular cadence, and the events which were going on the way. And again, this was a decision which was taken because of the stability of the game server. And now, considering the game servers are relatively stable, we have brought those events back so that people can. So next week is probably the Invader Hunt. Right now, as we are recording the AMA, the current event is like training your heroes and units. So next week you will be able to sort of put those heroes and units into test and attack all your invaders and have fun. So that event will be back as well. So there's another good update for you guys. Other than that, like Qing, you wanted to share just quickly, like what's the next step about mobile? Let me share that screen as well here. You were like, we already discussed that, but you can also just quickly go through these.
Yeah, I'm just gonna quickly go through, and I'll talk about what we have done already, and also show a bit of what's coming. So I believe when you can see it, you can really feel it, or you can envision it. So I like to share some mock-ups, some screens, so our players can see. So these are already in game. So the HUD, it's a term in the game industry. So basically, all these HUD elements you see here, the buttons, the hamburger menus, all these, and also the here are the resources. And also the icons for the event and shops and player profile. All these are new. Also on the province map, you see you have all these icons and the army widget. And so this is what we call it on the left corner below the player profile. It's a daily mission widget. The chat here we haven't added. This is just already by design. We put a place for the chat later when we implement. And then you have this daily mission widget, which is now already released. Especially when you play on mobile, this is a way more convenience. Again, we call it mobile first UI UX design because everything is kind of designed towards to have the most native experience for mobile players. Or you can play on both mobile and desktop, but this is just so much easier. And also the game kind of how the game is paced, how game is designed is really just 100% optimized for mobile. For now, if you're already in our iOS player external test group, you are already having this, you can access. Otherwise, you can wait a bit when we start recruiting external testers for Android.
That will be
this is
soon
a
as well. We will keep you updated when the Android version is starting to being tested.
Absolutely, yeah. We'll
Like
use the same
I
kind
can
of.
show you. I am playing the iOS version. I don't know how much you guys can see. Like but like sorry, but like my game is pretty much. I enjoy. Since I have gotten the iOS app, I am.
Yeah,
I have
stop using desktop.
Yeah, using desktop honestly. Like I do use desktop because I need to know what's happening in the game, being the part of the team.
Yeah.
However, like since then, like I can just like upgrading as we speak. Like I am in a meeting, but I'm also playing the game. So, however, it's amazing and how and with the new UI, I absolutely like because when we were testing, the new UI was not implemented in the first version of the mobile app, which we were internally testing, and the biggest the critique we were like, okay, our thumbs were not big enough, or like they were too big for the buttons or something like that. But now I think with the new UI UX, I think we have definitely, like Qing said, that they have made it like more mobile friendly. So I could notice that by playing the game.
Also, this building menu is already in. This is I mean, there's a lot of details if you look into, for instance, how the footprint of the building now is designed in this way, and how everything is displayed. Really, just for it's good balance. It took a lot of time to design this, like to strike between the aesthetic design and also the functionalities. So far, these are the things already in, and what I'm going to show quickly about what's coming as we are developing more on the mobile, or kind of say update our game UI UX with the mobile. So this is event, the new event, how it will look like. As you can see here, everything, it looks so different. Feels more like a totally different game. And on the surface, it's new UI, it's new user experience, new flows. Behind it is also, we need to consider how this works with the mobile players. And here we're talking about Web 2, Web 3 players. I think for many Web3 projects, when we started, we're thinking, okay, we build a game for Web3, and then let's try to extend it into Web2. This is after years of learning, we have realized this is actually doesn't really work, because there's a natural barrier there. Web2 players, many players just doesn't want to get into Web3, or they don't know much, they are not interested until certain trigger. Instead of shoehorning this to Web2, it won't work. You can see a lot of projects failed and they didn't even continue. Our approach now is we build a game for Web2, and we provide a Web3 as alternative as well for these Web2 players. So behind this, that means we need to readjust our game economy, not the changing values. In a way, it's how this will work with the, for instance, Google Play Store, and how does it work with the fiat payment? How does it work? So, like, for instance, if you're Web2 players, you can't claim MEE tokens, right? That's for Web3. Then what do you get? And if you're Web3 players, can you change to, okay, I receive something more in the game? So all this, I don't want to go to details. I just want to tell that these are all behind the scene that we need to figure out. We need to implement.
I think it's an inclusivity thing that we do want to have more players in the game, so that the players who are already playing, they are people who are already the landlords, they get more out of that ownership of the land as well, right? So even if we just bank on the Web3 audience, then I think it's still a growing market. However, Web2 market is already very established market.
It's not comparable, to be frank. In order to scale up the game audience-wise to the target that we are aiming for, we're talking about 100,000 or talking about millions. And I think
as a corporation, we do still want to have Web3 as a priority. However, like the what we were expecting with the Web3 market and gaming growth, the gaming adaptation is still not there where we were aiming for, like when we started building the game. It's still like a steady growth, but it's not there yet. So we do want to like also not disappoint our already existing players, by having a very low number of players consistently there. Like, I mean, we are growing our player base as we speak. However, still it's not as astronomical as web 2 games already, who have like come in between and like even launched themselves and like get players. And with our IP and our especially in certain markets where we see our IP is with the Engin Altan Düzyatan, the famous Turkish actor who's our title character as well for the Turkish faction. He's such a big appeal for certain markets that we would want to utilize that appeal to bring in more people. However, they might not always be the Web3 audience. However, we do want Web3 players to take advantage of these new players coming in and utilize their assets, like their games. And once they are in the game, they are better positioned to adapt to Web3 rather than bringing somebody who does not understand at all about Web3 and they come in the game and they are like confused what is happening, what is MEE token and what is silver token. However, if we come in, we sort of introduce it to the concepts of the game, they might adapt to the Web3 version of the stuff which is happening in the game. But that's the future plans, like how Ching mentioned that there might be some elements of the game which are purely in the mobile version for Web2 audience. We would they If they don't want to interact with the crypto part of the game, they don't have to. But at the same time, if they are on the lands of a Web3 player, they will have the Web3 players still will have the advantage of that.
So
Yeah.
we're not purposely segmenting players. What we try to address is the fact is the bigger amount of players, any game. This is a $1 million question, or no
Yeah.
Web3 game has so far cracked is how can you grow your audience?
Absolutely.
We have a very enthusiastic, very passionate Web3 community, but that's not enough. Especially we're building a game in this aiming with scaling for millions of players. We have to enter Web 2, which is ambition for most of the mobile game Web 3 games. So this is our go-to-market strategy. Maybe we don't talk too much about that, but I want to say is, so what we try to do is we're trying to address the differences between Web 2 and Web 3, but also tap into the overlaps where we could make the magic happen. This is reflecting to the UI UX, but a lot more work will happen behind the scene. Again, back to UI UX. I'm just quickly going through this, and maybe we can have some time at the end of this EMA. Here, Army Assembly.
Oh, wow.
As you can see, totally new design, new layout. Everything's different. It's spec for a lot of designs. We really, really believe this is a good solution for mobile. Yes. Even for a desktop version, this is also will be much easier than the current version. And then also the rent offers. We need to consider, okay, how this works with small screens. When you have a lot of offers to happen, the ideal situation will be we'll have a millions players flood into the game. They want to find a place. That's where the landowners or staking become real powerful and need to make this easy to navigate, make it easy to use. So far, we're very happy with the design. Again, it's really about when we can get this into the game. Also, other aspects I want to show. This is not ending here, but I mean, there's so many things we need to do. These are just showing that, okay, basically every UI have a new design as thoroughly thought, thoroughly designed for mobile. Here, just example for how the building management will look like and how the player profile will look like. As you can see, if I go back, you can just feel like this whole theme, this whole version, it's so different from the current one. You will feel like this is like a totally new game.
That's a part of the user experience, like a new user experience altogether.
Sorry, forgot to mention one thing. With the event, adding more, we also want to introduce more collaboration event, team events, and that leads to another one. Ultimately, again, back to PvP, clan versus clan. These are still on our backlog. It's just step by step, go mobile first, and then keep adding games in, new features into the game. We're in a era building game as a service as lifelong service. It's not one time building game, launch it, that's it.
Yeah, it's like a living, breathing organism altogether of a game. Like it will continue to grow and like have new things. Like we have since day one mentioned, like, like when we started, we were just like one faction. You were just allowed to be one faction. Now we are into two factions, and
And
there's
Holy
like
Roman
normal
Empire will come.
Holy Roman Empire will be
Byzantine,
coming.
Mongols,
Yeah.
Mamluks, maybe all these are on the table.
They are all on the table. Yeah, I have
Yeah,
seen
yeah,
some
yeah.
designs. I have seen some designs from the art team. They look amazing. I mean, so I look forward to the day when they will also be like, we will have choice for these people, players, existing players and new players to enter as, at the troops of their choice, the faction of their choice, and that will be a much more interesting game. And also imagine like when the PvP will also introduce in that, and the price pools will be bigger, obviously, because the thing is, right now with two factions there are certain price pools, and then the more factions there will
Yeah,
be bigger
yeah.
price pools. So yeah.
Yeah, we have so much planned. We have so much design ahead, and we have yeah, it's really just like how do you eat elephant? You slice it. So now we're slicing it. We're doing step by step.
Yeah,
Take some step takes longer time. For instance, this new game server, but finally it's done, and now we're moving forward, and we're gonna be fast.
that was a big step though. Like, I think we all
Huge project.
in the team understood that that was a big step which was needed to be taken. It was not unavoidable, or like, you can just like not move around it. It was
Yeah,
something which we were all aligned with, that it needs to happen, and we
yeah.
did. Thankfully, were able to, like, go through that particular step, and now we're on the other side. So now we have so much to build upon that foundation. Now that's been set. um, Anything else, Shing, you want to add, or we can then wrap up the AMA for today?
No, I think that's all.
Okay.
So the
Yeah.
takeaway is we're entering mobile, we're entering
Mhm.
Web 2, and we're going for a big group of audience, and we're going to connect Web 2 and Web 3. We're very confident that we've cracked this secret. At least for this game, we know how to build it. We know how to make it work.
Exactly. And as for, I did receive some questions about the Me token one. I can only say that I know that our management is currently in touch with certain exchanges, and they are also observing the market situations, and accordingly there will be announcements if there needed to be made any announcements. But keep following us on socials. Make sure
No
you are,
AMA
yeah.
then.
And yeah, we will, and if there is, you bet there will be a bigger AMA than this one, probably with everybody joining in. And but yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we are a game, and we have to focus on the main product, which is our game,
Yes.
and everything else follows with that, and grows accordingly. So thank you, Cheng, for joining me today for the AMA, and for everybody, keep playing Medieval Empires. If you have not added your Google and Apple account already on your profile, if you're already a player, please add it, because we will roll out more and more as we start beta testing for Android as well, and we are already testing for Apple as well. So we will open it for more and more people, but only people who have added their IDs into their player profile will be able to access them, because we already are giving access to people who have their data associated with their profiles. So that's my final words for you guys. And thank you so much. And hopefully
Thank you.
see you soon. Bye.
Thank you, Raza.